Hey, 3 million%, let's talk about elevating your profile and what that looks like. Let's get into engaging leadership, talk about memorable visibility, and what in the heck virality means. Okay, so let's get in there. Now, a lot of people don't take action because they're afraid. Maybe it's because of their beliefs. Maybe it's because of past experience. Maybe they don't feel like they have the potential. Okay, but know this: by taking massive action, you actually can get the results you want, but that increases your beliefs, that increases your potential, and then you take bigger massive action. So it creates this momentum cycle, or a success cycle, as Tony Robbins calls it. Okay, take massive action, increase your results, increase your beliefs, increase your potential, and so it just goes up and up, right? You keep taking more action, getting better results, your beliefs go up and your potential goes up. Okay, now the opposite of that can occur if you don't take any action. If you get negative, if you allow criticism to affect you. Okay, so if you take less action and get less results, your belief goes down, your potential goes down, your action goes down, and it goes a negative cycle. Then it acts like a drain. Okay, so take massive action, get bigger results. That's what to know from this. Engaging leadership is something that requires thought leadership. It's to put you in a position of thought leadership, but we're going to take that thought leadership and we're going to engage it and put ourselves on committees or in events where we're volunteering to do things with others, because we want to be shoulder to shoulder with thought leaders in whatever organization or community which we come across, because they're going to be better resources of influence, as well as better resources for thought leadership, better referral sources. Okay, so we want to create that opportunity to serve in a capacity that creates that shoulder to shoulder with those thought leaders. Quick notes on this: the more physical, the better. Why is that? Iron sharpens iron. There are some things you can only learn about a person through the experience of endurance or hardship. Okay, if you've ever experienced working manual labor with someone shoulder to shoulder, you know this to be true. You've gone through something together. You can even look at it like coronavirus. You know, if you had coronavirus and someone else had coronavirus, you kind of know what each other went through, so you have a certain respect that you give them. Okay, it could be the same thing with moms about childbearing. Okay, they've been through similar things, so they have a certain respect for one another. So you could apply that same concept to volunteering alongside someone, especially that's a thought leader in the community. And if you've done that shoulder to shoulder with them, they're going to have a respect for you that they might not have with others who would try to approach them in the community. Also, the dirtier, the better. You're like, what? How is that? Why? Why is that? Why does that work? Well, it's a servant leader's heart is revealed in their willingness to endure discomfort for the benefit of those whom they serve. Okay, so you're trying to portray yourself as a servant leader, and you're like, man, I'll do anything for you. Okay, that's what that's getting across, and you need to have that moment to get that across. Okay. Now, also, the greater the risk, the greater reward of trust and respect. So, I mean, you look at our heroes who are soldiers, and they go out and they lay their life on the line. We greatly respect them for what they do. And why is that? They're physical. They're getting dirty, and they're willing to risk everything for us. Okay, so you can apply that to your local community and how you can do that to engage leadership there. Also, we want to serve as ambassadors to your membership, market, or community and be the trusted source of information. So we want to be their Google, their LinkedIn, their Twitter, and their Facebook. You heard me say that in another guide. Take note of that. Be that. It's very important that you are. Okay. Now, quick notes on that. So volunteer your way into roles of new information where you can learn new businesses coming to town, new new opportunities that are coming. Also, people and events that will affect your community. You want to know who they are, how they work, what the potential outcome of that is, so that you can be Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook for the people that follow you. Okay. Become such a resource that you're the human version of this. All right. And then the concept applies to nonprofits, community service organizations, industry associations, and even the Chamber of Commerce. Okay. So we want to create this concept where they come to you for all of their information. That's the baseline. That's the goal. Memorable visibility. Don't you love this photo of these two men from an ad in probably a newspaper at the time? Man, who would wear that to the office and stand around the water cooler in that? But are they visible and are they memorable? Yes, they are. It doesn't mean you have to dress like me and set yourself apart with hats or bow ties or scarves or crazy colors or anything like that. But the way I relate it is you want to be like Reunion Tower is to Dallas. Now, some of you have never seen Dallas. You've never been here, but it's one of those tall towers that's real skinny and has the ball on top. Okay. Now, when I go speak, I can actually, especially in Texas, I can actually pretend that I forget the name of that and describe it, and the crowd responds with the name. Okay. That's what I want it to be in my local community. I want it to be by description who my referral partners, who my referral resources pointed to. And this applies to social media and it applies to in-person events as well. You want to be that person that they all point to whenever your industry gets pointed out as someone needs help in that industry or something like that. Okay. So we've got creative ways to help you do that, especially through the 3 million% program. I'm going to teach you some things that you can do on your own right now to help elevate your profile, especially on social media, and how you engage with it. So create a desire for people to want to know you. This is something that I do through something called Photo Lab app or Photo Lab Pro app. And I take my own selfie pictures and my own emojis, emoticons, however you want to say it, but I do it with selfies as an emotional response. And I take several different emotions that I may need to use on social media, right? A lot of times there's something that maybe shouldn't be responded to or said, and you're like, man, this could go either way. If I type something out, it could really go either way. But also, now I'll use the emojis for that, but also I will use these to stand out as, the congratulations, where the word congratulations is appropriate. And, Facebook has tried to help you out by making little balloons come up or anything like that. Well, I've done it where I use my emojis to say congratulations and have a special way of doing it. So if you imagine a comment thread where you've got just line after line of 5-word sentences that say congratulations, and then bam, there's Tim that says congratulations, and I'm dressed all different and have a different background, things like that. That makes me memorable and visible even where I shouldn't be. So it's like not even advertising. Nobody can say it's advertising, but I am top of mind for everyone who reads that post. Okay. And Facebook likes the fact that I have a facial expression as well as all the activity going on in the background. So they're going to move that up in the comment thread anytime there's a chance, unless they've got it set to certain parameters. You can do the same on LinkedIn. I've actually used these in email responses. I've used them in text threads. Okay. It gets attention. It does what you need it to do. I'll be teaching you how to do that in other videos outside of this one. We'll go into depth on how that works. Now, another thing I learned to do to create a desire for people to want to know me is I've got a Samsung Galaxy Note Ultra 20, right? I don't know if Apple products have this ability to write over photos. They call this live messaging, but I've learned to use this to my advantage as well. So whether it be happy birthday or congratulations or happy anniversary, I use this live messaging to set myself apart, especially when it comes to those birthdays and anniversaries, things like that. So it really gets the right kind of attention and makes me memorably visible to those and creates top of mind awareness that we're looking for. Now, this is something pretty funny that you've seen lately as far as deep fake goes, or I think this was done on a Reface app. I'm thankful to my wife for doing these for me. She thought of some that were pretty funny, and she found these and was able to do this for me. But you can see that these are from movie scenes where she's placed my face over the actor's face and created some neat effects there. Again, going back to like the emoji thing, where I don't necessarily know how to respond, it is very helpful to have these available where I can just plug those into a comment thread, plug those in as a response to a text, just to get the meaning across by whatever it is that my face shows. So this is pretty neat. And we'll have another satellite type of a video teaching you how to do this as well. But I just wanted you to see it here because it's very important to create that desire to set yourself apart, or to make people want to know you and set yourself apart. Something else that I do is do videos inside of emails. Now, one of the very few ways that I know to do that, especially if you're using Google, that makes it through their firewall process, is to do it through Dub. Now, Dub allows you to even have succession videos. If you've already done prior videos, it also has a way for them to take an action, right? You have call to action buttons that you can place in there. You can also use emoji responses to your video. It does pull them out of the email to go see this video, but a lot of times it's in how you present it as to make them open or not. It also tracks analytics to see who's watched your video and who's responded. And so it's a very helpful app. And I'll have a separate training on how to use Dub. Some of our members have finally started to do this, and I'm not sure if it was their own idea or what, but something that I've done to set myself apart also is to create memorable visibility moments for my clients with hobbies and talents that I already have that have nothing to do with marketing. Okay. So I draw and paint, I write poetry, I write books, as you know. And so I use poetry for posts. I'll use my creative abilities to try to come up with things, but I've even done pen and inks like this boot photo here. This is a pen and ink that I probably did 15 years ago. And I still like it. It took me about 9 hours to do it. But I've got several in this same time period that I was just completely focused on pen and ink. So what I did was I created my own greeting cards and started sending those as thank yous or congratulations or something like that when I'm doing personal greeting cards. And I even left it blank on the front of the greeting card so I could sign it in fresh ink so they could see that it was not just a print that someone they didn't know did. And a lot of my clients as a financial advisor came back to me and let me know how much this meant to them, and they would frame it and put it in their house. So that was really neat to experience. So we've got some members who really like to bake and they're really good at cookies. So they have started doing designs on the cookies to try to say, hey, I'm really interested in what you do and how you do it. Here's a little bit about me. I like to bake and I do design work on make specialty cookies. And so that is a fantastic relationship deepener, but also it makes them very memorable and very visible. Okay. So take advantage of your own creativity and hobbies that you like and how to use that to market yourself. I'm going to say asymmetrical marketing, where it's not typical marketing that you would see, whether it be relationship, digital, however. Okay. Let's get into the virality portion of this. And this is a funnel. Okay. This is a trust funnel. And we're going to build around this. And I want you to see how all this comes together, because this is going to be the real framework for how we do things. We use this tactical guide to growth hack influence in becoming virality, and using this model develops strategic thought leadership, no matter what the event, organization, or community. You heard me talk about it in another video, but I want you to get in deep on this and see how this works. So what it looks like after we come in and apply this is, especially if we go, let's go back and look at, if we use the 3 million% growth groups to do this, and we take and invite them to whatever events or even social media or Facebook groups or anything like that, and we take the people who understand the process that we're using to go into these groups, you can actually leverage each other, because you all have the same mission in mind. So if you're all engaging in this tactical growth hack, then you all work the room together. Okay. And you can all grow your influence much faster by doing that. But to do this, you have to move as a team. Navy SEALs, they have to do these sit-ups with these logs. They have to do full exercise regimes using these telephone poles as workout partners. Okay. So they have to team together. And what I've heard in the research is that they can't really speak, because it gets to where they can hardly breathe, but they start doing things together as a team when they're working out with these logs, and they're going even by little movements. They can tell when someone's out of timing. They can tell when someone's not holding it right. And they don't have to say anything, but they can say, hey, with a look, say, hey, we need you to pick up your end of this. Okay. Now we can do that in business, and we can do that when we move as a team. So as we build out the growth group program for you, that's really a structural format that we use to go into communities and build out this growth for you. Okay. And we have to have you building that team, but you have to work with them to move as a team, a lot of times without even speaking. Right? Just you have to watch moves and counter moves to see what they're doing, or communicate with them on the back end with a text message or something like that, saying, hey, did you see someone comment on this thread or something like that? Try to help each other in the background, because you don't want everyone to know that you're working as a team in the community. So let's talk about live event funnels. Live events have been difficult for a year now. We've been out of commission. Just actually a year about this week, March of 2021, has been about a year since we've gone through a pandemic, right? So live events were stopped for a year, and we had to really hone in on our virtual digital marketing expertise. But I want to bring this back because it applies to both the in-person as well as the digital. So prioritize the events that you attend based on your ability to create referral generators or get close to your most profitable clients. And invite. You're trying to invite prospects, clients, and referral sources to these events, because when you do, it elevates your profile to all those involved. You want them to come to that event to find you, so you can take them and introduce them to people, and they start to see you then as a valuable resource. So it elevates your profile even more. So make sure you're doing that. And if we'll be developing your process and how you get that done, and holding each other accountable as well. Make a list of target prospects and referral sources. So that's pretty easy. You go there, you kind of know who you need to meet. A lot of times people don't do that though. They just go and randomly attend events, not having any expectation of what they want to accomplish or who they need to speak with. And that costs them valuable time. So create an appointment and connection goals for each event that you attend and let that drive who you need to be seeing. Another thing we're trying to do is schedule one-on-ones out of this, and it could be to learn how to help one another grow if it's not for business. A lot of times as a financial advisor, I didn't want it to be about business because that wall would go up and they would say, well, I don't have any money to invest. Well, I needed to change the conversations. So the way I changed the conversation was, let's meet to learn how to help one another grow. That made them much more willing to meet with me, but also it allowed me to filter them, whether they were a viable prospect or they were a viable referral generator, and let me learn more about them so I know better how to refer them. But also they learn about me to know better how to refer me. So that was the goal behind those. You want to create connections, introductions for those whom you invited, like I mentioned before, and apply that growth hacking influence tactic that we talked about. Now let's get into digital funnels. This is fun. So it's the same 3 million% strategies. It's just a broader audience with better tools and faster growth. That's really what we're going for here. You're trying to make yourself Google, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook by using Google, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So that's what the goal is. Every action that you take with your digital marketing should be to do one of the following: deepen relationships, elevate your profile, leverage networks, build credibility, or establish community. As you get into that 90-day planner, you're going to hold yourself accountable to your monthly, weekly, and daily activities as to how you do that. So if we look at this from a sales standpoint, digital selling, okay, that is us moving into the room, trying to create sales conversations, right? So that's proactive prospecting, or we're developing those leads and referrals. Okay, that's us moving into the room. Imagine it that way. So you could look at it as moving into Facebook groups or moving into organizations where that's the goal. Okay, and we'll get into the marketing side of that here in a little bit. Let's talk about digital selling first. So create a connection. We want to create a personal connection through Facebook typically, and a professional connection through LinkedIn. Then we get into deepening trust with engagement. So unlike a networking event, it's hard to create engagement. A lot of times it's hard to create those conversations, but through Facebook and LinkedIn, we can post, comment, share, and like in that order. Okay. So likes don't mean much unless you're on Instagram or something like that, but it's a vanity metric. And some people might say, oh man, you want a bunch of likes. Well, comments and shares are really what drive your content up to higher levels in Facebook and LinkedIn to make them put it in front of more eyes. Okay, so imagine if someone you knew or you wanted to know started getting comments on their post from you. The more you do that, the more interested they're going to be in who you are. Why are you commenting so much on what I do? Do you have the same interest as I do? And so what that does is that opens up opportunities for conversations. Now, I do live stream shows where I create, I'm going to say, micro content where we take little blurbs from those shows and we put it on LinkedIn or something like that. And I've noticed that I get likes from people that I don't even know on LinkedIn. So what I've learned to do is go and send a connection request to whoever liked it. Okay, then start trying to build that conversation there. Might go through Messenger and send them an invitation to one of my 10-minute calls to learn how to help one another grow. And these are even corporate CEOs sometimes. So be fearless and bold when you do this, okay? But comment on others or share their material. Even for each other within the 3 million% program, do that for one another, and it elevates your profile by elevating their profile. Okay, going back to that Ziegler quote, you can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. That's what we're doing there, okay? So what they're asking is, do they know you? Do they like you? And can they trust you? We want to help them out with that. Okay. We help them by engaging with them. Another thing, it helps us qualify the prospect or referral source. And we can even do that through sell by chat. I'll be doing another satellite video on sell by chat, how that works, how we use Group Track for that. Also, you can do the same concept through email or even phone or virtual calls. But we want to whittle down real quick who we are trying to do business with and who we're trying to refer, because it's very frustrating when you're sending emails and trying to make connection with people that just aren't responding. Okay. So we learn to filter quick, allow them to self-filter as well, and either get out of your focused prospect group or in it, however they want to be. Sometimes no just means I need more time. Okay. So you'll have to read that, and I might do some videos on that too, but that's what we want. So we're trying to figure out, do they have a need? Can I help them meet that need? Do I want to help them meet that need? And can they pay me to help them meet that need? Okay. That's what we're trying to do when we filter them. All right. So those are things you should be asking. Lastly, we want to draw them into a closing conversation. So we're either going to create a client or customer, or a referral generator, and in some cases a mentee. And we can mentor them by inviting them into the 3 million% growth groups with us, or even this program. You can invite them into this program or the mastermind. But what that does, even though you're not saying, hey, I want to mentor you, by inviting them in, they will look to you for answers for other things. Okay, so that's strategically how you use the structure of 3 million% to help you gain thought leadership. Okay. I love Group Track CRM because it overlays Facebook and is a CRM where we can track posts saved or anything like that. And you can put what stage they are in your sales process or your connection process, but it also allows you to automate snippets and how you respond on Facebook Messenger. It's a lot of fun. I'll be doing a completely separate video on how to use that, but just know that's coming. That's where we create our sell by chat conversations, where you can already preset your responses to things. Now let's talk about the passive marketing, digital marketing, where we're trying to draw people to us. It's not us moving into the room, if you will, to sell. We're trying to get people to raise their hand and say, hey, I need what you have. I want to do business with you. We want to bring them into a conversation with us that makes it where we don't have to actively sell so much. So we want to incorporate digital marketing with digital selling at the same time. And what that does is it creates more prospects for us both ways. Okay. So this funnel operates a little bit differently because we're trying to draw people out. Remember, we want to educate people as to how smart we are and what that looks like to talk with us about our industry or about our expertise. So educational content, we have to create that. That might look like infographics, handouts, white papers, like I did the 90-day planner. I have a quick reference guide in that. Books, videos, online course, edited video highlights. There's a lot of things that we can do to give away for free to get their email address, to put them on our email list so that we can maintain a steady flow of contact with them, okay, on through emails to give offers. So we want to create this self-filling pipeline through how we use the educational content. That might look like 9-word emails, join our Facebook group, lead magnets, big win testimonials, case study. Now there's something called a 5130 campaign that we'll go into later. We've got the Group Track CRM as well as the Facebook group content. So we'll be doing videos over each of these as to how best to help you grow this in the format. to create a self-filling pipeline. Can you imagine? Now we can automate that self-filling pipeline. When we find something that works, we want to set it on wash, rinse, repeat. Okay. We want to create a process that automatically does this over and over again to keep the steady flow of prospects coming to us, because digital selling gets hard. It's hard to keep going into these groups and trying to create prospects by relationships and things like that. So you can see where if we're using both of these at the same time, we increase our opportunities to increase our income. Okay. So in that filtering process, what we want to do is have these 10-minute calls, determine their fit. We want to have a strategy call. So we want to offer value, but determine whether we know, like, and trust one another, right? And then we want to be able to close or have that transaction or referral opportunity there, have that conversation, right? Because a lot of times we don't know. So we're going to use all of this to get traffic and prospects flowing to you, but you have to do the work. I can't do this for you. All I can do is teach you how to do it, and you've got to go do it. Okay. So that's the important part of all of that. Now, filtering must be done must be done to separate your ideal clients from those who you refer to your competitors. Okay. Let's reread that. Let's hear that again. Filtering must be done to separate your ideal clients from those that you refer to your competitors. Now, let's break that down a little bit. I was trying to be gentle in how I put this. There are some people I would rather not work with. If it's someone that I would rather not work with, I would still want to maintain my respect from them. There might be multiple reasons why I wouldn't want to work with them. I may not trust them, but it might be someone that I could still refer to a competitor of mine, and that competitor might see me as respected as well. So I'm going to try to maintain my relationship with them without hurting their feelings. And instead of saying no, I'm going to try to redirect them to help them get their problem solved with someone who may be willing to work with them. Okay. What did you get out of that one? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the next one.